Do you know how many games are coming to crowdfunding this month? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Clayton, and first things first, if any of these games that I'm about to mention sound interesting to you, make sure to sign up for them in the description box down below because dates can change all the time when it comes to crowdfunding. Trust me, all these games sound great, so stick around, you don't want to miss a thing. Starting off, we have GreenPlanet Powerline by Queen Games. It is currently on GameFound and it dropped on September 1st. And it is a simultaneously dice selection game that's easy to learn with a fast pace of play, but with difficult decision making. Complete your lines to score points for cities and power lines. Atlas Lost coming to Kickstarter on September 2nd. A battle game where you explore the lost world and discover technology and gain influence to rebuild the world. There are 3 different ways to win. Be the first to reach 30 points, gain all 4 initiative tiles, or reach the end of your influence track. This looks like it's going to be a very high strategic game where you're going to be planning out your strategies and playing the long game, and hopefully it works out. Love the artwork for this one. It looks like it could be a lot of fun to play. I love how there are different ways to set up the board and how modular the boards can be. If this one sounds interesting to you, it may already be on Kickstarter, so check it out in the link down below. Coming September 5th, we have USC Reach. This is a competitive turn-based tactical space journey game for 2 to 4 players, where you discover the marvels of the universe, rescue rookie space travelers, scavenge for resources, and improve your crew and ship. You're going to be using deck building and hand management. Coming on September 6th, I have a game that I talked about plenty on the channel, Forsaking, a new way of narrative storytelling with super deluxe components. You are playing pretty much as space bounty hunters in the sense that you're going to be traveling between 3 different planets, fighting and complete different jobs. Each character has their own personal backstory and goals that you're going to be working towards. Discover encounters and upgrade your weapons along the way. Super excited for this one. Definitely looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play, especially if you're really into story-driven games. Each character will have their own branching story that can overlap with other characters, and there is tons of replayability in this because there's going to be thousands of different characters to interact with, different storylines that you can do based on the choices that you make. And it's by Game Trace, so the components are going to be out of this world. For me, it personally depends on the price point, but again, super excited for this one. Let me know if you guys want me to cover it in the comment section down below. Also on September 6th, we have Elric Rise of the Young Kingdoms. Relaunching on Kickstarter, this is a competitive dark fantasy game based off their novels. Rise and Fall, a very immersive and easy game to understand, where the world is different every time you play. Each player will control a civilization trying to expand their progress in a fantasy world. The world itself is very unique in its landscape. Also on the 6th, we have the Fox Eperiment, a roll and write fox game where in each round you select a pair of parent foxes who have certain traits. You'll gain those specific trait dice, roll them, and try to move around to complete the trait symbols. You'll then mark them off on your pup card, and at the end of the round, the previous generation of foxes will be cleared and all new pups will move forward to the next round. Look, I said it before and I'll say it again. I love foxes in games. They're my favorite animal, and I've been looking for a good roll and write game. This one is really interesting to me, plus it was co-designed by Elizabeth Hartgrave. Also, it's being published by Pandasaurus Games. So make sure to look into this one because it might be a hidden gem for you. Dawn of Ulos also coming September 6th. Again, September 6th is going to be a huge day for Kickstarter, so make sure you mark your calendar. A ton of games are dropping then. Dawn of Ulos is a tile-laying game for 1 to 5 players set in the same world of Role Player. You compete in the game among gods, wagering and manipulating the rise and fall of the mortals. Develop a new world, invest in your favorite factions, and pit armies against each other. Looks like it's going to be another great game by Thunderworks Games, so if you like them as a publisher, you're going to enjoy this one, so make sure to check it out. Legacy of You, a solo-only, fully resettable, non-linear campaign game in which you step in the role of the legacy hero, You the Great. It is your job to build the canals ahead of the upcoming flood, while also defending your growing village against neighboring barbarian tribes. With each game, stories will be shared and new gameplay elements will be added. This one is for all you solo players, and it is by Garfield Games, so you already know that this one is going to be great. Merchant's Cove Mastercraft, the big box expansion, adding 4 new merchants to play. Also, a new board that connects the bottom to the main board, adding tracks for each new faction. And there's also brand new mechanisms for each factions to use. This one is coming to Kickstarter September 7th, and if you haven't got a chance to play this one yet, now might be the time to back it. Plus, you're going to be getting some extra characters. It has a lot of good reviews. This one is definitely on my wish list, and I love how the fact that each merchant in the game has its own mini game within the game. Tales of War September 9th, a competitive tactical board game for 2 players, and the game features fast setup and quick turns, and it has an easy to save campaign progress. September 12th, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance coming to GameFound, a brand new app-driven cooperative living RPG game for 1 to 4 players. Throughout the campaign, you'll be able to develop your character and encounter new challenges on your journey. Each scenario in the campaign will bring a completely unique experience, bringing you to new locations and introducing you to new people. The game will also feature an adaptive sound design. Your actions will not only alter the story, but also the vast soundscapes around you. Every dialogue and conversation in this game has been professionally voice acted, immersing you in the world even more. You gotta check this one out if you love living RPG games. This one sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun to play, and it's being compared to Gloomhaven. Hope you guys are still sticking with me because we are only halfway through the list, and trust me, you don't wanna miss these next few games. Necromolds coming September 13th, a Warhammer clay battling game that is an insane amount of fun to play. This is actually gonna be a reprint with some extra goodies. Playing with clay monsters, fighting to the death, definitely a lot of fun to play. Highly recommend looking into this one. It's probably gonna be one of the bigger Kickstarters of the month. September 12th, we have Sparta, Struggle for Greece. Play as Athens or Spartans in a battle to rule the Greek world. It's a 1 to 2 player game, but if you play it solo, there is an AI system for you to fight against. Age of Inventors coming to Kickstarter September 13th. A worker placement and action selection game with an interesting blend of asymmetrical powers. It is said to be fast and intense. I actually got a prototype copy for this one. I've actually only really cracked open the rulebook. I'm really excited to dive into this one. It looks like it has a lot of detail in the player boards, so stay tuned for my first impressions for this one. Can't wait to dive into it more and tell you guys all about it. Spark Rider 3000, a hybrid cooperative tower defense and survival game for 1 to 4 players, in which players must plan their actions to ensure the success of their mission. Each scenario is different and you have to adapt quickly to avoid seeing your ship destroyed and your cargo intercepted by alien pirates. Mushroom Sorcerer, American-style war game, use potions, learn spells, and duel for dominance. The goal of the game is to be the only sorcerer with the most amount of influence or moon elements in order to win. Definitely a very pretty game with deluxe components. I love those wooden dice towers. Makes me very intrigued to check this one out. Daybreak, a cooperative engine building game from the creator of Pandemic. It's all about climate action where each player controls a world power. Fateforge, Chronicles of Kaan, an ever-evolving narrative action adventure cooperative campaign game full of surprising twists and intense fights. Each episode is played under an hour. The game offers an RPG-like board game experience. The game will feature meaningful narrative choices and action-packed combat scenes, which are the heart of the game. There are a bunch of campaign games dropping this month, so if that is your style, you're gonna have plenty to choose from. Mind Your Business, a game where you will be racing to fulfill your cart as it moves down the mountain by rotating and swapping cards and creating colorful patterns, which you will then be extracting from your board for victory points. Do your best to avoid your opponents as well as those pesky goblins that try to eat anything in their path. I'll also be getting a prototype copy of this game, so stay tuned for my first impressions. Patriot, a semi-cooperative board game of social deception, betrayal, strategy, and teamwork for 3 to 6 players. Redwood, a game of movement, estimates, and angles, where players have to take pictures of wild animals. Players use curve, movement tempos to carefully maneuver their photographer around a circular game board. They must stay clear of animals and their rival snappers to find the ideal spot for a photo. Honestly, this game looks stunning. I don't know any other word to use for it. With its mechanics, it definitely looks like it's going to be different from a lot of games out there. Definitely interested in this one. Rone Invasion, a deck and dice building game where you actually screw the dice before they screw you. Improve your dice, train your army, and show your enemies that you would rather die than surrender. The game features different game modes, such as cooperative and competitive. As the game progresses, players will add additional cards to the deck by training them. Players will also roll their dice, and each color screw that is rolled can be used to collect different resources of the same color. Definitely a very unique game. The gimmick with this one and what makes this one stand out is how you're putting those screws into the dice. Now, in my mind, that could be really fun to do, but depending on how much time it could take up, could also be very annoying. But who knows, this could be a really cool game. Definitely worth looking into for sure. Now, I don't know about you, but that was a lot of games to cover in this video. And there's still even more games that are coming out that I couldn't cover. So if there's a game that you are excited for, let me know by commenting down below, and make sure to check out this video here where I talk about the Ironside gaming table that's currently on Kickstarter. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.